I'll start from your end, Dr. Victor Entry. Perhaps introduce yourself to the audience and what exactly you are doing in Ghana's food systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edwin. My name is Victor. I'm the Chief of Party on the USAID-supported Feed the Future Ghana Mobilizing Finance and Agriculture activity. It's a long name, but we call it MFA. We mobilize finance in agriculture. It's a 5-year activity seeking to facilitate approximately $310 million to the magic number of 132, 164. That's 102,000, 32,000, 164 agribusinesses. When we say agribusiness, we are looking at from the micro straight to the large businesses. As we speak, we facilitated approximately $264.28 million to 57,242 agribusinesses. And out of that, 62% of them are female-led agribusinesses. Thank you.
All right. My name is Mumuni Samyuri. I work for MBC Africa, the agribusiness associate, and the lead person for a financial inclusion model that we are introducing in rural Ghana. The food systems and what MBC Africa is doing is trying to look at an integrated approach where we will bring food from the farm to the plate. Others call it from farm to fork. Others call it from farm to the mouth. But that is the food systems, and we need to see how we can integrate the sub-tips within the food system ecosystem. But of course, for MBC Africa, we are looking at that approach and looking at 2 approaches to this. One is trying to see how we can provide a financial inclusion model where we can provide sustainable financing to support the agripreneurs and the smallholder farmers in the agribusiness sector. And also looking at how we can build the capacity of the SMEs within the space to be able to provide the needed food that is required for our plates and our mouths to be full as well. So I'm sure we'll get to the details. This is just the introductory aspect. Thank you.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ajali Masajito Said. I'm Executive Director for a women's rights organization called Savannah Women Integrated Development Agency. We are based in northern region, specifically Tamale, but we virtually operate in the northern part of Ghana that covers the 5 regions. Now, for us as an organization, we are very intentional about identifying the woman as the change to transformation. That is our core. And for us, we believe in the economic right of women. And in doing that means that from where we are based, where agriculture is a game changer there, we need to be intentional about it. So we've been working with World Food Program under a very special project called Sustainable Livelihood for Women, with the aim of contributing to the achievement of their core mandate, which is the ADG Goal 2. And with that one, it will have multiplier effect in Goal 1, Goal 5, and then as well as Goal 8, which will give a decent job through agriculture. Now, for coming here to sit here as a women's rights organization, that is very intentional about using agriculture as a game and empowering women in terms of securing their livelihood as well as putting income in their pocket on a sustainable basis. We see the food system as a system that spans from production to agro-processing to distribution before the consumption. And in the course of doing that, we've gotten a lot of experience from the project that we are running that you need to look at this as more of an integrated approach, multifaceted, looking at each role as connecting the other. So we are talking about production. What does production link to the consumption? What are the issues that land can contribute to? What are the issues that technology can contribute to? So in that project, this way of looking at the thing, where you are introducing women to technology, that's ICT in terms of mobilizing financing, you are looking at women access to productive land, not just any land, but land that really can be very productive so that when they invest, they can get outcomes. Then you're also looking at the system where you are looking at women being recognized for their role in the food chain, in the system, so that the statistics that the ministry roll out every year, where they say that the smallholder farmer feeds virtually this nation, right from marketing, production, marketing, processing, then the woman is recognized for that role, through knowledge, through transformation, through positive attitude, to be able to get that done. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon. So my name is Zubairu Salifu. I'm the Senior Investment Manager for AV Ventures. AV Ventures was established in 2016 by ACDI VOCA, and we focus on managing and providing innovative financing to agribusinesses in selected value chains. Since our establishment in 2016, we have financed over 15 businesses in the food systems across multiple value chains, from poultry to cereals to agtechs to horticulture and other sectors. We currently manage in excess of $40 million across 4 country-specific impact vehicles, focusing on Ghana, Burkina Faso, Central Asia, and Kenya. Over this period, we've learned a lot, and we have seen what works and what doesn't work in food systems. And our presence in food systems is very permanent, and we see this area as one area that can transform the economies of many countries in terms of jobs, in terms of access to food, in terms of even integrating women into agri-value chains to create jobs and to reduce poverty. So to further build on this work, we have recently launched a $60 million Pan-African fund called the AV Ventures Africa SME Fund, which comes with a complementary $6 million technical assistance fund. So we can provide innovative financing solutions to SMEs with inclusive models in food systems in 6 countries, Ghana, Kenya, Burkina Faso, Mozambique, Zambia, and Tanzania. These countries are very, there's a reason why we are focusing on those countries. These are countries where ACDI VOCA parent has done a lot of work. They've implemented over 180 projects in 63 countries in food systems. And so they have a depth of experience we're looking to leverage. This fund would hopefully, once we are able to raise it, would provide financing to those agri-SMEs that particularly have a certain impact potential, that can provide financing to address issues of climate vulnerabilities and actually inequalities in the food systems, and also build on the work we've done in these countries.
I'll take it once again from your end, Zubairu. What is working in mobilizing finance to smallholder farmers? For us, the statistics also speaks to the fact that the traditional banks and institutions just lend less than 2% of their investment or funds to those in the agribusiness or agriculture sector. But you guys are doing and showing the way, what is working, what is not working, that other financial institutions can take a leaf from.
Thank you. I mean, I mean, people have done it before, and we're just trying to identify gaps and coming out with more innovations in terms of even the product offerings, in terms of how we structure the transactions and the deals.
How are you structuring the transactions? What is different? What is working for you?
Yeah, so
don't share all your
yeah.
trade secrets, but at least give an overall idea what is working. What do you want other traditional institutions, financial institutions, to pick from you?
Yeah, so when we started in 2016, I mean, our parent was very clear in terms of the gap they wanted us to fill. They didn't want us to come and become like traditional financial institutions that would demand collateral, that would demand your mother's birth certificate and all the other things, because before you can access funding. We came in with a mindset that we should be able to develop products that can share and align risk. So what we have done in terms of how we've delivered financing to SMEs is we typically structure the deals more like income participation. So we give you, say, $1 for 5 years, and we say over the 5-year period, we want $1.50 back. Now, how would the $1.50 come back? It's going to come back from the principal repayments, the interest, and also royalty based on your performance of the business. So if you make profit, then we share in the profit. So what we found is that it's more or less aligned risk, and businesses are now quite open in terms of working with us compared to the traditional funders. I would say one thing, that the financial landscape is different. We cannot expect every financier to be the same. Banks have their roles to play. Impact funds have their roles to play. PE funds have their role to play. The challenge in Ghana, and usually I say this to SMEs I meet, they just see money to be money, and every money is the same. But we are different. Deals that a bank would be interested in may not necessarily be deals that I'll be interested in. Deals that I'll be interested in may not necessarily be deals that the bank would be interested in. So what has also worked for us is leveraging access to technical expertise to support the SMEs we lend to. We had invested in a poultry farm in Doma in Kro, and COVID hit. This farm had, capacity of 100,000 birds. How was it going to be able to sell the eggs to pay us? So we had to dig deep into our networks, and then we found an agtech provider that could actually offtake the eggs and sell it to people through USSD. And what that helped us to do was we had created a market for it, and as part of the arrangement with the offtaker, part of the sales from the eggs was going to be used to pay us. So that was a very creative way of solving our own problem and solving a problem for the farmer. I'm not sure the traditional providers of capital may want to care too much about this. So these are some of the elements that differentiate us in terms of the innovative products, the patient, and how catalytic they are, and also actually demonstrating our value add to these businesses in terms of facilitating access to markets, actually even helping them with their business plans and seeking additional funding, or actually even getting them new customers. Those are things we have demonstrated, and it actually helped us, when COVID hit. So I would say these are some of the things that have worked for us. It's not to say I don't go, I lie awake in the night sometimes, because it's not everything we have done that has worked, but it's all part of the key learnings, and hopefully we will build on the key learnings and differentiate ourselves as we move forward.
Thank you so much. I'll come to you once again, Dr. Antwi. The smallholder farmers, the women farmers, those communities are the most underserved when it comes to financing along the agricultural or agribusiness value chain. But you are doing quite a lot in that perspective. what is working for USAID MFA? What are the learnings? What do you want to tell us that, wow, that young person that is there that wants to start an innovative financial product for the agricultural sector, this is the way to go? Your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Edwin. I must say that as MFA, we have 4 main pillars. One of them is to work through transaction advices. And I'm glad to see my sister Mel Consult here. We have about 24 of them, including 2 international transaction advisors. So we work through them to support the agribusinesses. So they identify and assist them, prepare their books, among other things, as Zuberi was saying, so that they can present them to financial institutions for financing consideration. And we build their capacity, because the thing is, I always say that if I want to produce in northern Ghana, for instance, I should have my money. If I'm input dealer, if I'm an input dealer, I should have my money by March, so that I can stock enough. Okay, maybe you might need to switch off yours. Okay, so that I can stock for the farmers to know that I have it. If I'm going to produce, I should have my money by April. So the transaction advisors must understand the dynamics. Similarly, we build capacity of the financial institutions for them to also understand that if I need money to produce maize, you wouldn't come for the money the next day. I need 6 months because I need 1 month to prepare, I need 4 months to produce, I need 1 month to harvest and then sell. So build their capacities so that they can do that. And in the case of the smallholder farmers, we come out with some financial products, because if you look at the assets that they have and you expect them because of prudent credit management to bring in these as assets to collateralized loan, you wouldn't give it to anybody. But as you rightly said, when these are the base, the rock, foundation rock for the full system development in every country. So we help financial institutions develop financial products, make sure that these are customized financial products that will support these agribusiness. That's why we have about 90% of these agribusiness that we've supported so far coming from the smallholder end, because these smallholder farmers need some small money. As somebody was saying that, I think it was David, said they need just 100,000 Ghana cedis. But to somebody elsewhere also need just 5,000 Ghana cedis. So as they say in Akan, so it depends on how much you want. So we help the financial institutions develop financial products so they can reach out to them. And one of the other pillars is that's the strategic partnership, whereby the big businesses who need some IT solutions, as Alima was saying, so that those smallholder farmers can also participate in this. So we customize our reach in terms of the support that we do. And I must say that one of the innovative things that we've actually implemented. One of them is blended finance. Myself and David Tete, we visited a business. And this business have been moving up and down with other banks trying to get some financing to roll out. I went there and said, look, I mean, what you need is working capital. Working capital, about 70, 80% of it is your raw material. So why don't we look at suppliers' credit? Now this business, an old boy, we are old boys of Prempeh College. So whenever I go, senior BBI, okay, it's really how. And I'm always happy to hear that, because suppliers' credit has turned the business around. So we need to also look at it. It's something that we've done, that we've gotten results, suppliers' credit. And sometimes we need also blended finance, some equity kakra, and then you have the debt kakra to mix. You know, it's not always that you need debt. It's not always that you also need 100% equity. So there's a need for us to also look at the blending. These are some of the innovative things that we've been able to do to turn out some of these large businesses. And I must say that about 78% of the financing have gone to these large businesses who need not less than $500,000. So as these businesses grow, they pull the smallholder farmers along, because they create the market. So from MFA, if you ask me, that's what we've been able to do to get the smallholder farmers participate in the national food system development. Maybe when there are more questions, I'll probably have the opportunity to also explain.
That's fine. Indeed, coming out with innovative financial products for agribusiness is quite a hard nut to crack. And I think that you guys have done well by starting something, and that is commendable. Mumuni, agri, they say, is very risky. And for us farmers and smallholder farmers and commercial farmers, all that we want is the money. We don't understand all these financial gurus and the metrics that are required. How are you guys supporting smallholder farmers, the small MSMEs that are in the agribusiness space, to align and understand the providers of capital?
I think very clearly we understand that money is everything. Even to peace to prevail in our various homes, there must be money. So if you don't have it, yes, it's a problem. If you don't have it, how do you go ahead to do production? And people don't have it, yes. If you go to where we operate, especially in the rural part of the country, talk about the north or some part of the Volta region, you ask every farmer or a smallholder farmer what they need, and they tell you it's the money they need. Who has the money? Indeed, if you listen to Doug, clearly it's because the donors are coming in. That is how come you are able to support. If you go to some of the financial institutions I know, of course, there are donor support, supporting them to give lower interest rates to our farmers. Take them off, and there will be nothing for the farmers. So we say that there is the need for us to develop some kind of cooperatives where the farmers can come together, put their small resources together. We now leverage on that, direct the financial institution, and come in and support the smallholder farmers. So if you go to the Northeast, for instance, we have about 5,000 smallholder farmers registered under a cooperative, where we are now going around looking for financial support to come in and support the cooperatives. Then it will trickle down to the smallholder farmers. And what we have been able to do is to be able to provide the market. Because one of the key problems the farmers are also facing is access to market. They produce their product, there's no market. In fact, it is the only part of the country that I see that without an off-taker agreement or without knowing the market, a farmer goes to produce 10,000 bags of maize, harvest period is lying down, who is going to buy? He goes around looking for market women to come and buy 10,000 bags of maize. How are you going to get that? So we ensure that we put them under cooperatives, provide the financial support, and link them to the access to market. So for those who are also in that, and like I earlier on mentioned, there's the need for an integrated and systematic approach. All the approaches that will lead to food systems must be integrated. So yes, there's production, but where is the transport to be able to transport the material, the products to the various markets? That must also be taken into consideration. Where are the warehouses to be able to store the food that is produced so that during difficult times, we'll be able to have that in abundance for our people? That is not there. So that is why MBC Africa, through the Subi's cooperatives, is providing that linkage, trying to see how from production we can bring food to the table. One of the key things that we do as well is through the MBC Africa Business Academy, we try to be able to provide the capacity that these farmers also need. Of course, you go to a farmer and ask the farmer. One of the critical things also is the fact that even the farmer doesn't see himself as an entrepreneur. So there's that man change shift that we need to do. And that is why at the Business Academy, we have developed 3 programs that we are implementing with SMEs within the agribusiness value chain. The first one is the startup. For those who are, they have the idea and perhaps have started something small, we come in and support you, build your capacity, and grow you up to a point where you are investment ready. It is there that we need Nanaya at Fidelity Bank. Because at that point, the business is ready for investment. Nanaya, bring your money, let's sign a contract with them, and let them begin the implementation process. Of course, there are some businesses who are already matured. but of course also need funding to be able to expand their business. Those, we put them under the business growth clinic, and there's a period of 6 months. We take them through the capacity building program for the period of 6 months. After the 6 months, we understand that they are ready, and of course we push them back to Nanaya again. You come in, sign the agreement with them, you continue. And we have the venture building, because some of the farmers are very willing to go into value addition. If you go to the Tumu area, for instance, they have large acres of land that they produce soya beans. And the soya beans, basically looking at just transporting or selling it in the raw form. How can they add value to what they have produced? And I think that is where they may even get more market for the produce that they are going to do. So we have to use the venture building approach to be able to support them to come in and do the value addition at that point. We cannot do that all alone. We need partners to be able to do that. In fact, in the northern part of the country, again, we have close to 20,000 farmers registered under our cooperative. BC Africa is, you know very well, we are a small organization, even though we are doing well. So we need partners of such to be able to come and partner with us for us to be able to get the impact that we are getting in the communities. Not to say that even in there, we cannot do it alone as well. So we have local partners. We will call the business development service providers. So across all the regions that we are working in, across all the districts that we work in, we have trained people through our business diagnostic tools to understand what the businesses require and take all the businesses through. So we will now link to the business development service providers. They provide the capacity building program on site for the smallholder farmers and the OBs that we are in there. So yes, it's okay. It needs an integrated approach, and it calls for collaboration. And the more reason why all of us are here. Let's collaborate, let's build the system and make it more resilient and sustainable for all of us. We must feed ourselves. Of course, no one can feed us. This is the system that we can use to be able to feed ourselves. This is the thought I have here. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, the topic for discussion is sustainable financing for food security in Ghana. Sustainable financing. And I think it's very important that we look at innovative ways that we can promote this kind of blended capital, patient capital, to the very, very many people that are feeding our nation. And across the country, the issues are many, from poor infrastructure to the absence of irrigation systems, to issues around lack of even viable seed. You also alluded to the issue around marketing of farm produce. More than 60% of our farm produce go waste, the post-harvest losses. Hajia, how do you want financial institutions, innovative finance providers to partner with you and your women farmers?
Yep. Very important question. But before I answer that, I really will need to share the realities of sustainable financing for a rural woman farmer. It's important to share. We started our work in terms of getting women financing because of the core purpose of our organization, which has to do with securing economic security of rights of women. Now, when we also started our work with WFP in 2001, the idea was to get women, given the challenges that women face when it comes to accessing finance, to do what they know how to do best, which is agriculture, because they have indigenous knowledge for that, which is trading in the agricultural value chains, which is doing everything that has to do with agri, but they have a critical challenge of finance. Then the idea was, what do we do to get women own what they want to do, overcome challenges, get maximum returns from whatever internal resources they generate. So if you are talking about collateral where it becomes an issue for women to access finance, and they don't have it. Rural women getting a nice bank like maybe Fidelity, just getting approached there is already a fear for them. They will draw. There are practical challenges on the ground. Now the issue is that we introduced the village savings and loan scheme. And I'm sure a lot of people now know that that is just the approach to mobilize women. That is a very intentional way of getting women to save what they have, overcome their own external financial challenges, but within the internal setup, they're able to raise money. So we started with it, and then it gave the kind of results that WFP was looking for. Women were able to raise their own money through savings. We got them to increase their land size, reinvested the money, paid for tractor services. That is the kind of thing we are talking about, where people on their own, as we look for external funding, because in the North, a lot of agricultural funding is donor funding. Now, this donor funding comes with a lot more of time wasting. A lot of people don't have time for that. But women on their own can raise money. So the village savings and loan is what we have been using as an intentional way of getting women raise their own money, save. But as you do that too, you are intentional about letting them know that there are risks involved with the box. So we introduced last year with WFP again, they funded a whole project on digitalizing the village savings, which women have now gone beyond putting it in the bank, using mobile phone, and then the practice, they've seen it on dashboard, they see how they save, and they've seen a lot of results, and we are trying to scale it up to get more women in it. So when it comes to that, then the other thing we have done is a cooperative, like he said. The cooperative agenda, we didn't just form cooperative, we have registered cooperatives. Women have certificates recognized by the district assembly responsible for cooperative registration. And we created a lot of linkages for them to be trained almost every month to understand the benefits of cooperative. Because cooperative has value addition in terms of aggregating input and getting straight to the market. And that is what they are using. Now, having said that, now come to your question of
engaging financial institutions. What kind of partnership are you looking for?
What we are looking for is the fact that currently the women that, if we want to say what those we work with, we have built people's positive attitude towards using external money to add to what they have so that they can scale up. And we have women that have, because of advocacy skills that have been trained, they are able to access some amount of land on their own. So that one is a guarantee for any financial institution to support them and build their capacity in terms of input supply, in terms of the business advisory services, in terms of letting them see business in the production they want to do, because the market is secured for them. Then they can create the linkages and do the farming. So we are looking for those opportunities. We are also looking for the fact that we do not, under any circumstance, want women to be left out because they are rural and they don't understand the digital economy we are in now. Women must be intentionally be included. And it should be a deliberate plan that we must get women to understand the way the economy is going in terms of digitalization, get them simplify the issues the way they should, because we tried it and it's working. Under the FP-funded project we are doing, they've seen benefits. So it's very easy to scale up. So that is a partnership that is important. We currently work with over 300 village savings and loan, but we have not been able to digitalize up to 50 of them. So there's still a wide gap to be filled by any donor that is interested, any partner that is interested. Because when we digitalize them, they believe in their own internal savings. There is security of the savings that they have done. Then the banks also use that one as a collateral, because that's now we are discussing with Opportunity International to see how they can use the savings of the women as a base to be able to increase funding for them to scale up their production level. So basically, that is the approach we are using to make sure that women are included, women get the benefit of financing, and the financing should not be just one-off. It should be a sustainable one.
Great. Thank you so much. We have 5 minutes, but the 5 minutes, I'll use it to ask questions to the audience instead of the other way around. Is that fine? So I'll come to you and give me one practical, innovative financial solution that you think we can give to our smallholder farmers. I can see you are jittery. Great. Who wants to take this question? Let me come here. Did you hear my question? I'll give you one.
Thank you so much. My name is Anita Solomon, and I'm from Development Bank Ghana. And as I listen to the panelists, I'm so happy to say that some of the issues and problems that are being discussed is exactly why the Development Bank of Ghana has been set up to do. So for food security, one of the areas that we are focusing on is agric, just because we want to make sure that the country's got enough food. And we are also focusing on specific products like maize, rice, soya bean, poultry, and I think cassava. So we are a wholesale bank. So we work through financial participation institutions. So we've onboarded the universal banks, and now we've actually onboarded the savings and loans and rural banks because of what Madame is saying. We want to include everybody, especially the women. So I'm happy to say that our mandate is actually to help some of these issues that are being discussed here. So for the women especially, we give them special interest rates so that through the rural banks, we've partnered particularly with the rural banks because we realize that, and the savings and loan, because 80% of their customers are women who are also in the agric sector. So these are some of the innovations that Development Bank Ghana is working.
Let's give it to DBG. Who is coming out with an innovative idea? Gameli, you want one?
Yeah, well, I don't have an innovative idea myself. Anyway, my name is Gameli Ajao. I'm from the Riser Fund. One of our partners from the Riser Fund, University of Ghana Business School, they have a program where they are capacitating rural entrepreneurs, also including farmers, to be able to process food products. And they are looking at providing support for production, certification, and also access to markets. And so this, within the idea of production, of course, the cost of infrastructure has been a big discussion point here. What they are looking at is creating investor case matches, whereby the gaps in these communities that they are working in across 6 regions are profiled in a way that people who are interested in investing directly into these businesses. Basically, we are looking at setting up production facilities where they can process food products, can be able to do that. And I think that is something that many of you will be interested in. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, that's fine. Last one from this end, sir. Last innovative financial product for farmers or those in the agribusiness sector.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kofi Ankoma. I'm with Access Pension. I'm particularly interested in what was being discussed, and listening to the speakers and Hajia, I get a sense that this could help us form more like an ecosystem, a platform. I mean, as a pensions trustee, we are aggregators. We literally collect funds. Now, if we are able to put these funds together to form something like a capital where, members of the pension schemes or even the private equity or venture capitalists can come in to support you. But then again, it comes down to you, the farmers. If you are willing to contribute into something like a pension scheme, which gives you some financial fallback in case or in the instance where something happens to your operations, that's number one. The other thing is that you are also able to leverage on your contributions in these pension schemes to access capital or some form of credit so that it can propel your growth or propel the growth of your businesses as farmers. And these are things I think we should come together to work, form an ecosystem from the pension side and as well as the farmers. Thank you.
I think it's been a wonderful session. Let's give it to our speakers. And we'll take their final remarks, and that'll be it for the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I must say that it's important that we should always look at financing the food system. There's a need for us to, as a country, consider having a fund for insurance. I'm talking about a fund to support agricultural insurance. There's a need for us to even have an agribusiness financing policy as a country. I think these are some of the areas that we need to look at as a country, and I believe that access to finance will be easy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Of course, clearly, there's the need for us to form the collaboration that we are talking about. There's the need for us to be able to feed the nation, but of course, everybody have to get involved. So quite clearly, there's the need for us to look at a financial model that will be able to support the smallholder farmers. If we don't do that, and I keep saying, for several years now, you have not seen any innovative idea of financing to support the smallholder farmers. It's clear, it's VSA list, it's VSA list, it's VSA list. What is the additional value that we are bringing to VSA list? And that is what at MBC Africa we are looking at. At the cooperative level, we want to move to the regional credit union level. Then we have the apex body. And it is the apex body that will look for investment to come in and support the regional union. It gets to the cooperative level, it gets to the smallholder farmer. It is an idea we have nurtured. And thanks to Wooks and Clara, I think she's here, they've done extremely well for trying to support the small idea that we had that have grown us up to this level. And I believe that with strong collaboration, we will make the financial institutions area of agribusiness a much better place, and we'll all be able to produce enough food to feed ourselves and make it less expensive. Governments must also play an integral part. I keep saying, we cannot do this without government playing an integral part of it. Government should do that. And if government doesn't do that, it becomes a challenge. There are always policies, and government comes in terms of what? Projects. Planting for Food and Jobs, very good. It started at a point that maize was sold at 180 Ghana cedis per bag. It ended in 4 years' time, and maize is sold at 450 Ghana cedis. What have we achieved? We are in phase 2 again, and it is the same. You go back to the north today, currently they are registering farmers for Planting for Food and Jobs. And you go, they say this is NDC, this is MPP. How are you going to move forward? This country will not go forward if we don't have the political commitment from our government. It's going to be difficult for us. This is my thought as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for my... for my concluding statement is to say that we all know how a system works. A system is a system. If one part breaks, it will not go. So if we are talking about food systems, we really need to be very deliberate about making it to work as a system, where every part of what we have discussed here, right from in the morning up to now, and to go further, will all work within the system for the system to function, so that we can get the food security that we are talking about. I'm just trying to say that at the end of the day, donors have come, donors will go, we will be there. Our governments will come, some will go. All of us, what is our own contribution to make sure that we are holding people accountable for what they say they want to do in the food system? That is a responsibility, and we need to ask ourselves. We will always do what we do, but as individuals, are we going to continue to be just allowing things the way it will go, or we will go beyond being at the national level, also go down to the ground and see the realities for ourselves, instead of being at the top most of the time and just thinking that Ghana is at the top, meanwhile Ghana is down. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of my concluding remarks, I think we have approached the problem from the financier to the SME, but the financier also needs money to be able to finance. So I think we need to adopt a very innovative approach of catalyzing funding to funds and financial intermediaries so that they can also invest in smallholder farmers. I think the whole concept of blended finance, catalytic capital, they are important to be able to ensure that agri-focused funds are able to raise the funding they need to be able to provide financing to the intermediaries. Risk in the ag sector is real, and we need to buy down risk. private sector commercial investors are shying away from investing in food systems because their returns are lower compared to other traditional investments. How can we buy down the risk? How can we develop innovative models to catalyze and mobilize funding to the ag sector? I think we can use different types. We can look at concessionary capital providers, we can look at technical assistance, we can look at design funding, and then we can also look at guarantees and risk mitigation. I like the fact that Development Bank has come. I think they are trying to provide some bit of support to funds so that they can lend. I mean, we need institutions like that to be able to mitigate the risk to commercial funders, and then we can attract greater pools of funding into catalytic funds so that our impact can be real. Climate change is also here, and is exposing smallholder farmers to many vulnerabilities. They need access to financing to be able to undertake sustainable farming practices, invest in, solar, invest in other forms of infrastructure to keep them, growing. We need to be very, intentional about the approach we need to take. So I think that collaboration is important. All the ecosystem actors need to work together to strengthen the food systems value chain so that we can continue.
Thank you so
to
much.
support that.
I think we'll give it to all of you. Let's give them a rounding applause.